Welcome to Education Today. We have an extremely exciting show for you today. Today we will be celebrating the Armstrong School District's 50th anniversary. As we all know, Armstrong School District is what makes this show possible and holds all of the schools in our area in its district. Welcome to Education Today. Would you please start off by introducing yourself to our viewers?
I'm Deborah Snyder, and I've been here for a long time, 37 years in the Armstrong School District and Keystone School District, but 34 here. And I grew up in this area. I graduated from Dayton High School.
I am Carol Lorigan. I have lived in this area all of my life. My first experience in the Armstrong School District was in the 80s, and then I did leave for a while and returned to the district in 2006. I still live here and am still very involved in the education in the area.
My name is Dr. Paul Lobby. I'm a graduate of Fort City High School many years ago, and I've lived here most of my life except when I was off doing my training in college and professional school. My children have gone to school here, and 5 years ago I decided that I might be able to help the district by running for school board. So in 2011 I was elected to the board, and then my second term began in December of 2015.
Do you remember when the Armstrong School District was formed? Any specific details?
Well, for me, I was in elementary school, 5th or 6th grade, and my biggest change in elementary school was the cafeteria menu. It had Armstrong School District on it instead of Dayton Elementary. And the menus changed because we did all the same menus throughout the district. So instead of just being our little wee school and people just making their own menu, we were a district then. And the big deal in the cafeteria menu, I mean, I know this will be very exciting to you, but there was a 3D sandwich that was like bread, and then it's sandwich meat and lettuce and that kind, just like and we had to name it. It was a big contest. Name the sandwich in the Armstrong School District, and you could get a prize if you named this sandwich. So all of us in the elementary school were quite excited to name the sandwich. I did not win, but we did name the sandwich, and I think it was called the Combo A, because it was a combo sandwich, and A for Armstrong. So that was my big change. Not a lot happens in elementary school whenever you combine into a district, but the cafeteria menu was the big deal.
Well, I don't remember the menu change. I was in high school at the time. So, you know, when you're in high school, you don't pay a whole lot of attention to what goes on outside of yourself, really. Other than the fact that I do remember opening textbooks, and Katanning Public Schools were no longer inside the textbooks, but the Armstrong School District was what you had stamped inside the textbook. And I do remember also that there was a little bit of a hullabaloo about the district. The voters weren't really given much of an opportunity to voice whether or not they wanted the school. But one of my friends actually was from Ford City, and his father was superintendent at the time. And his vision back then was to have one high school. And I can actually still see the picture of that high school that was on the wall. But those are the things that I remember most. Really nothing too much changed educationally at that point.
I remember when Armstrong School District was formed, and it didn't really present any major changes as far as the education for the students, the activities. The thing I do remember was that there was a lot of speculation by adults, my parents, my friends' parents, about what this would actually mean. You know, would this be down the road? Would it be productive? Would it be a good move, or was it something that we would later regret? And you know, there was some discussion about that, but people accepted it and we moved on. And I remember thinking, well, now I'm going to be a graduate of Armstrong School District instead of Fort City High School.
Okay, what were the main schools around when Armstrong School District was formed?
Oh, there were a lot of them. Yeah, we had-
Worthington,
East Brady.
Shamrock Valley,
And
Dayton,
Yeah.
Katanning, Fort City, and Elderton. 7.
Well, the thing that amazes me was that there was an abundance of elementary schools. For example, in Fort City, there was an elementary school where the old administration building used to be, where there's now the Sheets. There was an elementary school in Fort Cliff. There was an elementary school at Bellwood Gardens, where Manor Township now has their building, the Manor Township offices. And then I remember there being a Bethel Elementary School and a Borough Elementary School. There were just so many elementary schools, and that's because we had a student population at that time of 15,000, as opposed to now like 6,000 max. So that's what I always find amazing, is we had all these schools, and now we have one elementary school for each community, basically.
Okay, what has made you come back and be part of the work in the Armstrong School District?
This is my home, and this is where my kids went to school, and I love the area, and if this is going to be my home, I want the best for the students and the kids in my home.
I feel the same way. I've lived here all of my life. My children went to school here, and they both are educators, and they work in the area. My grandchildren are now going through the educational system, and I just always believe that, you know, because it is my community, that I have a responsibility to do as much as I can to contribute to the success of the community. And I like it here. I like what I do.
Okay.
I was away from this community for about 12 or 13 years, and then about 35 years ago decided that I was going to come back here. And it was because we had family here, and my wife is a graduate of Katanning. She was a classmate of Carol's, actually. And so we decided to come back to this area because we were comfortable here. And at the time, it was a vibrant community. There was, you know, PPG was employing lots of people, and Elger. Things have changed. You know, the economy has changed, and I like to think that some of my efforts are to help turn things around, so to speak. You know, and bring this community back to the level of economic prosperity that it once had.
Since its beginning, what are some of the small, minor things that you've seen changed?
Well, we don't have nearly as many schools. There's one thing.
Of course, those aren't, it's kind of like not a minor change.
I guess that's pretty
Yeah, I
interesting.
guess I don't know about, you know, the minor changes other than maybe the things that we remembered, like the menus and the textbooks, and, you know, they really haven't, you know, the size, the population certainly has decreased and contributed to the changes, but that's not necessarily a minor change either. It's more of a, has a major effect on what we do.
Another thing that's changed in our district is the amount of sports offered. You know, when we were in school, girls had a very, very small role, but I mean, that happened everywhere, not just the Armstrong School District. Now girls' sports are as plentiful as boys' sports, and that's really, really increased so that many, many more students can participate than did when we were in school.
Girls' basketball rules have changed.
Big time, big time.
That's a little minor change, I guess.
Have you seen any major changes?
Well, obviously, we've gone from 7 high schools to 2, you know, over the course of 50 years. So there have been some major changes. We certainly have major curriculum changes brought about by moving from the 20th century into the 21st, which is a change in all education.
You know, I think this high school is one of the major changes that has occurred here in the past quarter of a century, at least. Okay, as Mrs. Lorigan said, 50 years ago, Superintendent Hanner had a picture of a new high school, and it took that long to finally get this school built. Okay, it's long overdue. I think this may be one of the major positive changes. Of course, you know, there were a lot of negative changes too. I mean, positive changes in the sense that I remember when the Graff Bridge didn't exist. I remember riding my bicycle across the Graff Bridge when it was under construction and closed to traffic, but you could ride your bicycle up the 4-lane from Ford City and go across the Graff Bridge. You know, those kinds of things, you know, the infrastructure here is changing, and this is part of it.
Do you like these changes? If you could, would you like to see them taken back?
Definitely not taken back.
I think it's very positive. I'm just excited about what's happening in this school district now. Working here all these years, this new school and the building of a community, I think, is just exciting to me, and I'm really, really thankful that I'm here to see this, because I think it's wonderful.
I definitely agree. You know, when my children started to school, again, they were really debating the creation of the new school, and you know, I kind of believed at that point in time that perhaps one of my children, 2 of my children would see a new school, and that never happened. To be a part of it and to be here, you know, I walk into this school a lot of mornings, and I'm just grateful that it's here. It's just such a nice thing for me to walk through and say, you know, it's finally here. I wouldn't want to go back.
Dr. Lobby, how long have you been a board member? What is it like being on the board, and what inspired you to try to get elected?
My joining the board coincided with pretty much the decision to build this new school, and it was a bit of a challenge because it wasn't a matter of just building the school. It was a matter of consolidating the 2 communities and you know, bringing Katanning and Fort City and Katanning Township under one roof. But you know, I think it's been positive, and obviously, you know, being here today is proof of the fact that, you know, that was a positive thing, and that's obviously the most notable thing since I've been on the board. But you know, the other challenges as a board member are that our responsibilities are to determine how to tax the residents of the community, and responsibility for making sure that those tax dollars are spent wisely. And that has been a challenge. It's been a challenge because of the fact that the governor and the legislature took 10 months to accomplish a budget. But you know, we have I think a good team on our present board that work together. There's not a lot of conflict, and we're able to move things along, and I think this school is part of it, and we're hoping to be able to, you know, continue providing, you know, good educational opportunities for the students, and at the same time be fair to the taxpayers. I mean, that's the best we can do.
Well, thank you. We're going to take a short break, but stay tuned, and we'll be back with more Education Today.
Success. We see it every day. Hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes, internationally known faculty who are committed to your success. Real-world experiences to guide you on your career and life path. An alumni network 120,000 strong. I'm IUP President Mike Driscoll. Visit us. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one who makes a longer-lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star, and who can change the world of a fifth grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
It's hard to explain. It just became home. There are hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes and faculty that really get to know you. Amazing internships and everywhere, programs that help to find a job that is right for you. It's what IUP is about, a commitment to your success. See it for yourself. Visit us, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
The brain is a remarkable organ. It's almost infinite in its capacity. Its ability to reach its full potential is limited by only one thing: the heart. For if the heart isn't fully engaged in what you're doing, if you have no drive, no passion, the brain will simply go through the motions. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
And we're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. It's a big show today as we are celebrating Armstrong School District's 50th anniversary. We are joined by Dr. Deborah Snyder, Mrs. Carol Lorgan, and Dr. Paul Lobby. Looking towards the future, do you believe that Armstrong School District will continue to thrive and grow?
Absolutely. I believe that really with this school, just as I said, just looking at it, walking into it, it's very exciting. Being in here every day and being with the students and watching them, I just believe that anything coming is going to be positive, and that we're certainly now moving in the right direction.
I look at things from a historical perspective, and when I went to high school in Ford City, the high school graduated 250 students. Last year they graduated probably 90. The school was the same size. And I think when Mrs. Lorgan and my wife graduated from Katanning, they had 350 students, and last year they graduated 120. So things change. And you kind of look at that historically, and of course I'm old enough to have a significant amount of history behind me. But I look at this school and I think, this is a great opportunity for these students, and it's part of the community that's going to live on and provide a great opportunity for the students here.
Dr. Lobby, as a board member, are there any changes that you can fill us in on what will happen in the near future?
One of the real positive aspects of this board and the board configuration since we were elected in 2011 is the fact that board members are now elected from a region, as opposed to one board member being elected from Ford City, one from Katanning. This board thinks about the district as opposed to thinking about the region that they were elected from. So I have as much concern about what's happening at West Shamokin and Dayton Elementary School as I do with what's happening at Lenape, which is the region I'm elected from. And Stan Burdell one of the other board members is from that region, and he's concerned about their athletic facilities out there. You know, we're looking at getting new athletic facilities here. So the board really looks at the district as a whole. And when I look at that, and I think everybody is, you know, in tune with this, we have new elementary schools in Fort City, we have new elementary schools in Kittanning, we have a new high school here. We have a relatively new high school in West Shamokin, and it's only 15 years old, you know, so that's young in the life of a high school. Really what we need to do is address the facilities at the other 3 elementary schools, which would be Dayton, Elderton, and Shannock Valley. And I think that that's the direction the board is going to look at next in terms of any facilities improvements, and hopefully offer those students the same opportunities that the kids in Fort City and West Hills have.
Over the past 50 years, does anything really special accomplishments stand out to you? Sports, academics, etc.?
There's so many. There are over 50 years. That's a lot of time that I have to think about here. But, I mean, even just recently, having 2 state wrestling champions in the last few years, having a brand new school form and volleyball champions, and those are sports, having musicals that were just fantastic, as good as off-Broadway productions that I've seen, just fantastic productions. We've come such a long way in the last 50 years from what we did when I was in school. I just think it's fantastic. I'm excited to be here.
That's why we're still here.
That's why we're still here.
Are you proud to say that you have been involved with the district this long? How long do you plan to continue what you are doing for the district?
Well, yes, obviously I'm proud to be a part of it, and I am very proud to have been involved, even though I was kind of in and out of it. I am proud that my children are involved in education. My son's involved here in the Armstrong School District in education. I'm proud of that. And I will continue to do what I do in the district as long as I'm still really enjoying doing it. And I really do enjoy being a part of this. It's exciting to me. And we've waited a long time, 50 years. So I will continue to be a part of it as long as I enjoy it.
I have 3 more years left on the board, 3.5. And then I'm not sure whether it'll be time for me to step down and let somebody else pick up the torch. But as long as I live in this community, and you know, and I own a business in this community, and I've always thought that things that I do, you know, I look to make positive changes in the community, and not just for my own personal benefit, but you know, the benefit of the community and the students. So you'll have me around for at least 3.5 more years.
All right, do you have any last messages for our students and our other viewers before we go?
Thank you for inviting me. And I plan on being here for a while. Might have to carry me out in a box. That's what I always tell my students. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you so much. Well, that's our show today. A huge thank you to our guests, Dr. Snyder, Mrs. Lorgan, and Dr. Lobby. Happy 50th anniversary once again to Armstrong School District. Join us again next time.